Well, hello and welcome to another Daily Dominion. We have another instance of me not checking my audio settings and not recording any sound. This is getting really annoying. I could scream right now, but I think I'm just going to commentate on myself playing through this kingdom. There were a few insightful moments, and yeah, so please excuse me um, if I'm a bit slow or weird in response to what was going on the screen. That's because I will show you a replay of the playthrough. But before I do that, I decided to do the kingdom overview just in a normal sense. We have Friday, so we have 3 expansions. In this case, it's Cornucopia and Guilds with Advisor and Plaza. And we have empires with temple, royal blacksmith, 2 split piles, and 2 events, and a bit of hinterlands again. And yeah, you can read through the cards over here. And I will show you the split piles in a second. So we have the landscapes here and the split piles here. And yeah, what does this kingdom have to offer? Well, it is a powerful kingdom potentially because it has strong draw and royal blacksmith if you can get rid of your coppers. It has, as it will discard them otherwise, it has a village and plaza. Berserker can gain plazas and advisors for draw. Temple lets you thin down somewhat quickly. Trader is not great at thinning, and farmland neither. But yeah, Patrician is some auxiliary draw. Suk is some auxiliary trashing, but hard to achieve in the early game especially when you're under Berserker attack. And yeah, those split piles, especially Fortune, might offer a lot of money as it will double your coins. Patrician Emporium is not super important, but might also be a source of alternate victory points. Yeah, so that's the kingdom. Berserker is quite a nasty attack, I should note, and also gets around tax. So tax is an event that affects all of the supply piles at the beginning of your turn, at the beginning of the game. And it says when a player gains a card in their buy phase, note this, they take the debt from its pile. And you can also buy the event to add to that to any pile. And that means that if you played Berserker during your action phase and gain a card costing less than it, like an advisor or a plaza, you don't get any of the debt that's on this pile. And only if you play the Berserker during your buy phase and gain an advisor, let's say, you would get at this point you would get the 2 debt from both the Berserker and the advisor. But yeah, also Windfall offers a way to gain golds very quickly, as does Gladiator, having gladiators in play and buying fortunes. And farmland could potentially turn those golds into provinces, but yeah, here in this kingdom, it's really important to get deck control first. So let's look at the kingdom plot. And the kingdom plot looks as follows. We have yeah, as I said, everything available for an engine, strong payload in Fortune and Windfall, so you do want to build. Suk can also help out, and yeah, that's it. And then opening wise, what would I suggest here? I think I would suggest whatever opening you have, open temple. Everything does not feel great. Especially on the 4-3, you reveal the temple for the AI to take without any debt. So on turn 3 and on turn 2, you might be forced to just buy tax because you don't want to go into the next shuffle with debt, I think. And yeah, the goal of the game early on is to hit Berserker. Berserker is a key card here. You want to be attacking the opponent. That will mean that the opponent will be worse in trashing with Temple, will be worse in getting traction themselves. So really, Berserker is important. To get a Berserker early on, to get higher chances at that, you might want to gain a few plazas to discard treasures for coffers. And yeah, then get drawing using advisors early on, later on royal blacksmiths, as I said. And yeah, just build a nice deck. So let's look at at the recording, I guess. So you can see it here. Not much has changed, but I can assure you that this is the recording. And let's jump right to the timestamp where I started the game. Here you can see I did the opening analysis, and I started the game right over there. Spoiler, sorry. So let's just let this play out. As I suggested, I opened Temple and then looked what the AI did. And the AI bought a temple as well. So here the consideration was to, well, pay off the one debt. One could buy a patrician here, but yeah, it's much better to just tax something, to not go into the next shuffle with anything. And therefore I taxed Berserker already, I think. Was it? Yeah. And yeah, I was contemplating what to do. And the AI went for patrician on its 3 because it didn't have the debt. So yeah, slight advantage there. And as you saw, we had an awful turn 3 with just 2 coppers and 3 estates, which also means that the temple is now hitting those coppers. And yeah, that's not great. Let's say that. But we trash a copper here and decide to pick up a silver, which I still think is correct, as the patrician early on doesn't do you anything, and you really want to hit the berserker. Now here, I commit a grave mistake, as you notice, I have the one debt, and I trash out copper estate, and I end my buys without paying off the debt, which is utterly stupid, of course, but it happens. And actually, I'm glad I can commentate over, provide comments over this now to make fun of myself. But yeah, then especially in the early game here, I committed several mistakes, which I'll comment on. This was one of them, not paying off the debt here, because now on this turn we just hit 3 instead of 4, and this could have been a plaza, but instead it just has to be yeah, another maybe bad decision, I'm not sure. So this could be a tax or silver, but I decide to tax the berserker once again, and I then happen to find, let's look at my reaction. 3, 2, 1, go. There's my reaction. So my lips aren't synced up anymore. And yeah, I do buy the berserker here, thinking that I would play it immediately. But of course I don't, because there's no action in deck. And here I realize it, right? I mean, yeah, I'm very frustrated with myself at this point and just keep going with it. And yeah, at this point it isn't looking great, as we picked up the Berserk with all of the debt we put on it ourselves. But AI did tax the plazas, and this means that it cannot buy the plazas anymore. And even if it gains a Berserker now, with the plazas, it would pick up the debt, and that's pretty bad. And actually, this is something we decide to do here. We have the Berserker in hand, and we hit 5 again, and we decide to go for a second Berserker just to up our gains of the 4 cost cards, as they are really, really good here. Whatever you pick up, whether it's Temple with a lot of VP, whether it's Advisor or Plaza, it will give you a lot of good cards with the Berserkers, and it will also, having 2 of them in your deck, will give you higher chances of the AI being under the attack each turn. And as you see here, I paused the video again. We have a pretty awful hand, and I don't remember what I opted for. I think we went for just playing one of the Berserkers here, and tax the Berserkers again. Could have also trashed here, but I like getting more stuff in our deck. We are guaranteed to see those cards again the next turn, so we might as well pick up an advisor, tax the Berserker for the AI to be disincentivized to pick it up again. And yeah, then this turn there was another big decision coming up as to whether to trigger this shuffle without any villages in it. But given that there is a patrician in the discard and the advisor in the discard, we do not discard this copper here and just say, okay, we can chew through those 8 cards, and we might even have the chance to find one of the Berserkers already this turn to attack the AI again. So we just play this plaza here. I deliberated a lot there as to whether it's correct to do this. And we do get to trash out a bit more, and we do get to tax the Berserker even more. So while we didn't attack the AI there, it was still a worthwhile turn. Now here we play the Patrician first, as we have a chance of hitting the Berserker, and indeed we do. And revealing 2 plazas there, of course, is great because we have the two Berserkers in hand. We get to rack up a few coffers, and actually, I think from this point on, this game is more or less won. Before that, as I said, I committed a lot of mistakes buying this 5-det Berserker without even an action card in play. I decided here to pick up a Souk to trash out those cards, arguing that might have been nice to also trash out the temple, but yeah, getting really thin is great here, which is a thing the AI also managed to do. Like it is really thin, and it managed to hit Windfall there. But yeah, apart from that, it doesn't really have that much agency. Like, it doesn't have a Berserker, it does have Gladiators, but it doesn't have any plus buy. It also doesn't have any draw yet. Yeah, we of course can play the Souk here to have lower to have already a lower hand size. This Patrician has a good chance of hitting, or the same chance of hitting a Berserker than it would have when just viewing the discard. So we try, but we fail. Now here, AI denies the second Berserker, and yeah, I think we just play on, thin out one more copper, and yeah, have multiple. Do we thin out one more copper, or do we not? Why do we not thin out? Okay, we just opt to play the Berserker first. Yeah, we have a few options here. I consider just going Temple Royal Blacksmith first, or just Emporium for 2 victory points, but that's also not super impressive at this point. You really want to keep the draw going. I'm saying there that it would be nice for AI to finish off this last gladiator of this pile. Actually, that's the thing we could have done this turn. We could have also berserkered for gladiator and then bought the fortune already, but I think I like just going for the royal blacksmith. I think this is what I end up doing here. I like it a bit better to get some more solid, consistent draw into the deck. We already are up on plazas 4-1 because of this debt that AI imposed on itself, essentially there. AI goes for a berserker here, which is better late than never, I guess. And we go for the greedy play of discarding Patrician Temple and not Copper Temple, as we do have this Royal Blacksmith Plaza combo in hand, and we would like to discard this Copper to the Plaza. As it turns out, we could have also discarded the silver there and kept the Patrician in hand, but with these advisors, we have more than enough draw in our deck. Now, yeah, we opt to just play those essentially in random order. We needed to play the Plaza there first because we didn't have enough actions to play more Berserkers. There we could have already put in another advisor or another Plaza into the shuffle first. I maybe should have. But yeah, at this point, as I said, we are very far ahead. And yeah, get to pick up even one more plaza with the chance of the plazas being top decked, which is not the outcome we would have liked to, but since we are just picking up a fortune on this turn anyways, it doesn't matter much. We could tax with the fortune, but that would leave us with even more debt. So we don't do that, we just buy the fortune here. And let's see how the rest will play out. Of course, we do not spend the coffers just yet. We are somewhat lucky in getting this Royal Blacksmith Plaza combo in our opening hand this turn, I have to say. It's already turn 15, and we finally have the deck under good control. But yeah, with tax being around, the early games just slowed down a lot. And yeah, given that we can always lower our hand size towards the end of the turn with Plaza, I don't play the Souk just yet. There is a neat little thing coming up with the Souk, where, yeah, here I opt to take a temple, because it's nice to stay ahead in victory points to not having to be too cognizant of piles, and the temple can trash the temple this turn. Sorry, I was getting distracted there, but yeah, as you'll see, there is a neat trick with Souk, where Souk can essentially pay off debt before taking your hand size into consideration. But sometimes you might not want to do this, because here, when we play it in a sec, let's play the Berserker first, come on, you can do this, gain an advisor. Yeah, I deliberately did not leave anything in our discard there in order to windfall this turn. But yeah, I think it comes up now. Yeah, here the Souk immediately paid off the 8 debt that we had, and then lowered our then counted that we had 2 cards in hand and deducted 7, which it didn't deduct. But if we turn off the autoplay setting, it lets us manually choose how much debt we want to pay off right after paying the Souk. And here, because we have 5 left, because we only have 2 cards in hand, this actually makes sense, because then we will effectively get 10 money from the single Souk play instead of just the 7 that we would have if we had just paid off the debt. And yeah, buy-wise, we just go for more advisor, more Royal Blacksmith. We really want to keep up the draw. And yeah, let's see. AI, yeah, does have some stuff going on. Like it hit 8 there, but I don't know why it didn't play its Berserker there, or maybe it didn't find its Berserker there. But I think I'm also confused here, because two turns in a row we didn't get Berserker attacked. And yeah, I really don't know why I didn't. I have to note here that it was somewhat lucky, but also with all of those plazas that we have in deck, not that unlikely that we did find two of the plazas there with the advisor, as otherwise the Royal Blacksmith wouldn't have been able to draw. And yeah, the chance for dudding is certainly given here. I played a Patrician there because I've just discarded golds and there was a Berserker in there. We don't get to draw it, unfortunately, but with the Royal Blacksmith stuff, we have more than enough draw in our deck. Can just play on. I think we play this Advisor and Berserker first. What are we gaining here with the Berserker? Just another Plaza. But yeah, the game is very close to being completely won. It still takes some effort to convert this into a win. We pick up yet another temple. Maybe we could have already lowered advisors and plazas even more. Here I briefly consider to windfall again, sorry, and I got distracted there. And also I briefly consider to farmland the gold into a province this turn, but then decide after thinking about it for bit, and let's actually skip ahead here a bit. I'm deliberating all of the choices that we could buy here, but yeah, after thinking about it a bit, I just opt to go for more Souks and a Royal Blacksmith to just have more draw in the deck, because I'm more draw and buys in the deck. And then actually, as we'll see, yeah, I undo playing the gold last, or not playing the gold, to have more money, but it's anyways way more than we would need, so we just go for double Souk and Royal Blacksmith in order to then threaten even quintuple province the next turn with all of the money that we'll generate. And yeah, we go for the second Souk, we buy this Blacksmith, and we could have even yeah, we didn't even need to pay any coffers there. We can save them up for one magnificent last turn, because AI decides to grab those 2 advisors here, I think. And that leaves, or no, actually the fortune and I, sorry, I thought it would grab one more of the advisors, but it did grab one more of the fortunes. And this leaves us with a chance of going for the pile out, because we have 2 Berserkers. If we draw them, we can Berserk for plazas or advisors. And indeed, at this point, I didn't even realize that, because usually you don't think about emptying the Gladiator Fortune pile. But as we'll see, this will be a possibility here. I decide to play the Souks first, as we have a lot of actions and a lot of hand size. It's not super guaranteed that we draw everything, so maybe this play was a bit too risky to play all of those Souks first. Maybe I shouldn't have played the last one. Yeah, actually, at this point, I shouldn't have played the last one, just to conserve one more action in case we just found the Royal Blacksmith there. But yeah, this advisor reveals 2 plazas, and we are lucky enough to find those. And yeah, at this point, I realized that we're going to have 5 buys, and we could play this temple once again. I've got this to maximize the victory points, trashing plaza or advisor. But yeah, we just maximize how much money we get, 66, and that is indeed enough to just pick up those last advisors. But we don't just buy them, we pick them up in style first, paying off all of this fortune debt, and then get those advisors via berserking. And yeah, unfortunately, no other buy to pick up more victory points. I guess no, there also weren't that many farmland tricks. We could have turned the silver into a berserker using farmland to gain one of the advisors. And yeah, here you can see the final deck compositions. AI had thinned down very well in the end, but had way fewer plazas. And yeah, so let's talk about what went right and what went wrong in this kingdom. Well, as I said early on, I didn't play this one well. I missed playing the silver to pay off debt. I did this weird berserker buy when it had 5 debt, and no action. I didn't have any action in play, but it all somewhat worked out. And yeah, taxing the plazas after getting the berserker and taxing berserkers seemed really nice. As you can also see, the 2 debt on the plazas remained until the end. No, actually, I think it was the AI who taxed it. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this commentary on myself playing. I really, man, if anyone knows any persistent Obsidian, OBS, no, not Obsidian, OBS settings for fixing the audio microphone input, please let me know. but I've tried various things now, and whenever I plug it in, or I plug it out and plug it in again, it misses the microphone, and then yeah, it doesn't pick up anything at all, which really sucks. As I said, I don't want to do these commentaries over myself. I don't want to do replays of myself replaying the kingdom. It's super annoying. But yeah, anyways, I really hope you still enjoyed this one. And with that, I say goodbye, and I'll try to catch you in the next one. Goodbye.